Hamora! Welcome everyone to Caleb Watches Movies, the channel where I, Caleb, randomly select from one of the many movies that I own and I watch and review them for you, or when I take a popular franchise or a character in a franchise and I rank the crap out of that franchise. And as you can tell from my appearance today, we're going to be ranking all of the Woody Allen movies that have ever been released ever. No, of course we're talking about Harry Potter today, because today marks the release of the third in the Fantastic Beasts series, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Because, you know, Fantastic Beasts was supposed to be its own thing, done in Americas and not done with anything related to Harry Potter at all, originally. Remember that, J.K. Rowling? But whatever, I like Jude Law, he is a very sexy man, and here he is playing Dumbledore with a gigantic beard, so, yeah, we'll go check that one out. But in honor of that release, I thought I would rank all of the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts films that have come out over the last 20 years. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I mean, as you can tell. It's funny, I've had this tie for a while. Of course, I'm Slytherin. All the Slytherins in the house say yeah! I guess, yeah, because I'm the only one in this house right now, other than my cats. But I did end up getting the glasses and the small miniature one at a 1-year-old's birthday party last year. Not like I just showed up to a 1-year-old's birthday party and went, "Ha! I hate all of you! Give me that!" No, I was actually invited to this one, so I'm not a creeper. I promise me, I'm not a creeper. Look at me in my getup right now. I am not a creeper. I totally look like a creeper with these glasses on, I know I do. But we're all gonna look past that and look at the greatness that is Harry Potter. One of my favorite things to do when I was in middle school and in high school was to go home and read the Harry Potter books, and any film franchise that would get me to go home and want to read is impressive, and you have to commend it, so I commend this entire franchise. Now, like any franchise, there are ups, there are downs. I think there's a lot more ups to this franchise than downs, but I think the downs in this franchise are really far down there. And this is my ranking of all of the films in the Harry Potter world. We're not talking about the books at all. The books have nothing to do with it. Leave the books out of it. This is a movie channel. I'm doing the movies. So here we go. Thankfully, there are only 10 films in this franchise, so let's get started with number 10. Number 10, at the bottom of the barrel, is the most recent review that came out on my channel and the most recent entry into this whole franchise, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I want this to be the last time I ever talk about this movie, because this movie should not exist. There is no reason for this movie to exist at all. All we find out in here is that Ezra Miller's Credence is a Dumbledore, which is that's important for some reason. I don't know. And for a film to be called Fantastic Beasts, there are barely any beasts in this movie. Why does this film exist? What we get of Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, I like him as this weird bleach blonde creepy man with a weird contact eye, and I like Jude Law as Dumbledore, even though if we go from, if this is supposed to happen like maybe 50 years or not even 50 years before the very first Harry Potter film, I mean, there's got to be some shit that goes down in Dumbledore's life to transform him from that into this. But there really is no purpose of this film to exist other than Warner Brothers wanted a nice little cash grab and wanted to cash in on all that Harry Potter money that they were making. The story here doesn't advance anything, it doesn't advance plot, doesn't advance character. This film is pointless. In terms of ranking all of these movies, you have all the other Harry Potter films I'm going to be talking about in a couple of seconds, and then we have Crimes of Grindelwald, like down here, like down here. This movie sucks, I never want to watch it again. At number 9 is the Harry Potter movie that I feel like a lot of people will have towards the top of their list, but it didn't connect for me. And I remember loving the book version, and I had my own ideas of what the movie would look like. And then when the film came out, it was the first really turn for the darker, and everything was just really weird and really dark. The visual effects are not good. It's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter is 13 in this movie, and you know, for those of you that have seen the movie Turning Red, you know that 13 is kind of a shit year. And it just felt like a very strange movie to me. It felt like we had full steam ahead and we were just going, but we never took a moment to kind of stop and reflect and just breathe a little bit. Plus, I was also very upset watching this movie that there's so much Quidditch in the book, because this was the first time that Gryffindor won the Quidditch Cup at Hogwarts. There was barely any Quidditch in the movie, and that always upset me. I do love David Thewlis, though, as Lupin, so seeing him in here, and really the those moments of the Patronus and him developing his Patronus are really nice and really nice moments. But the overall aesthetic of this movie just felt weird to me, and it's the Harry Potter movie that I look forward to skipping the most out of the other ones. At number 8 is when Harry Potter gets his first kiss and starts getting his groove thing on. That's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the longest book out of the entire series, and it did not need to be that long. And Harry Potter is just so angry. He's so angry in this movie, and it makes sense because he has this connection to Voldemort, and, Voldemort's a very angry guy, so if he has this connection, of course, Harry Potter is going to be very angry. But it builds to a climax where Harry Potter gets the prophecy, the little orb, and the prophecy is that either Harry Potter or Voldemort are going to kill the other. No one else is going to kill them. One of them is going to kill the other. Really? For anyone that has taken Screenwriting 101, you know that's just a given. That's how heroes' journeys work. But then we also have the introduction of Umbridge in this movie. And Umbridge is one of the most hated characters in all of literature and in all of cinema. You hate this bitch. You just hate her. And the actress does a fantastic job of getting you to hate her. I don't know if I like that she's portrayed as a cat person because, not all cat people are this bitchy, but cats are nice. You do get a lot of fun moments, though. There's a great moment with Fred and George kind of terrorizing and really livening up the place during the whole owl exams. And this is our first time where Harry Potter and the whole gang kind of get into some combat. Plus the end of Sirius Black, which is always very sad. Order of the Phoenix is very dark, and it's a very angry movie, and it has a lot of hateful characters that, kind of belongs at number 8. At number 7 was the film that started this whole franchise off, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Or really, anywhere else in the world, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but us Americans, we like making it our own thing, and regardless of what everyone else in the world is doing. So, moving on. This was the one to get everyone into the world of Harry Potter that hadn't explored the books yet. So this film had to have a lot of sense of wonder, and a lot of color, and a lot of mystery. And this film succeeds in every single aspect. Great introductions to all of our characters. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter is immediately likable. Emma Watson as Hermione. And of course we have Ron Weasley here, and you just fall in love with him right away. And the introduction of the original Slytherin bad boy, Draco Malfoy, talking about Harry Potter every time. That's something I've come to love about all of these Harry Potter movies. A lot of the villains' pronunciation and the hitting of that P in the word Potter is fantastic. Snape and Malfoy in particular, whenever they talk about Potter, they're always hitting Potter, Potter. I love it. At number 6 is the first entry in the Fantastic Beasts version of this whole wizarding franchise, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This was a very enjoyable theater-going experience for me. I saw it at the Alamo Drafthouse. Alamo Drafthouse is an amazing theater, and I love the atmosphere. It's too bad that they took their business out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I live, because I would just go there all the time. I love that theater. And it was a nice return to the wizarding world, but here in America. And we thought we were going to stay in America. But then Warner Brothers was like, no, we want the Harry Potter money. Do the more Harry Potter stuff, please. But we do get an interesting, fascinating, and very intriguing performance from Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander. Even though up until this week, I thought his name was Newt's Commander. But he is so lovable, he's so introverted, he's so soft that he would be a caretaker of mystical beasts and know how to care for them and to engage with them. You can definitely see Beast wanting to be around someone like this because he has this sense of caring and nurturing about him. There are a ton of callbacks in here of, hey, remember the thing from the other Harry Potter movies, like the Deathly Hallows symbol? Well, here's a necklace with that symbol. You remember? Hey. You remember this movie? Come on, guys. It was a nice return to form for the wizarding world and bring us all back into the world itself. It took a fall from grace, though, with Crimes of Grindelwald. I can only hope, with Secrets of Dumbledore coming out today, that hopefully we return back to form and we get a lot of that wonder and mystery back of this world. Starting off our top 5 at number 5 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. I like that they took Deathly Hallows and split it up into 2 books because there is so much that happens in this book, and it's such an important franchise to a lot of people all around the world that you just have to get this last one right. In this whole Harry Potter series, this one needs to be perfect, and it needs to have really everything in here. And ever since then, there are other franchises like Twilight and Regurgence or Divergent or whatever that series was that tried splitting up their last entry into 2 different films, and it felt much more hollow than these 2 films did in Harry Potter. And it was really nice just spending a lot of intimate and just private moments with our 3 main characters. A lot of times in these other film adaptations, you lose a lot of things from the plot and of the story from the novels, and you get caught up in the whole grandeur and the whole climax and the whole main conflict of the plot that you lose all of those intimate things that you get from reading the novel. Well, here in this movie, we get all of them. We get a lot of just kind of sitting around, our characters looking at each other, whether they're scared or they're angry or confused as to what they're going to do. I like moments like that, and I like going back and watching this movie every once in a while. Plus, there's beautiful animation here with the telling of the original story of the Deathly Hallows. Love that. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. At number 4 is actually one of my favorite books in the whole Harry Potter franchise, and it's a pretty damn good movie. It left a lot of the backstory of Voldemort out, though, and that was the big selling point of the book itself. It's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It's the book that was spoiled for so many people all around the world who went to the last chapter and saw the white grave illustration on the final chapter. It's a very important story in the whole Harry Potter franchise, and I think once we get to those final moments, we get to that climax of Harry and Dumbledore going into the cave and getting the Horcrux and Snape confronting and being kind of pulled between the dark world of Voldemort and then also what Dumbledore is asking of him. Beautiful. Absolutely love it, and it's exactly how I pictured it in my mind when I read the book originally. The movie, though, gets caught up in a lot of teenage, how am I going to put this, I guess?
Well-mannered frivolity.
Everyone just wants to have sex with each other. Which makes sense. Everyone is 16 in this movie, so chemicals are firing. And I also really enjoy Jim Broadbent's version of Slughorn. He's very quirky, he's very strange, he's very weird, but he's also very loving, and you also tell he has a big dark side to it. I just wish this movie would have had more of the Voldemort backstory, because that's what I like in a long-going franchise, and we have our main villain. I like going back and seeing how the villain became the villain of the story. Not necessarily evil, but just what led them down the path that they ended up going down. But Alan Rickman is terrific in this movie. This, and also another film I'm going to be talking about here in a second. He just has the most heartbreaking and most beautiful moments of this entire series, and I just love watching him in this movie. I love this movie so much. But a film that I like more than Half-Blood Prince is actually the film that got me into the whole Harry Potter franchise and really kind of kicked off my interest in it, saying like, oh, hey, this is actually pretty cool, and I want to go home and start reading the next one. That's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Sure, a lot of people probably have this lower on your list, but like I said, this movie for me was my realization that, oh my god, Harry Potter is awesome. I'd watched the first movie and I had read the first book, and I was like, okay, this is nothing special. I'm more of a Lord of the Rings guy, you know? But then my family went to go see Chamber of Secrets in theaters, and I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I loved this thing. Worrying that these kids were going to get caught and they were going to lose the house cup. I'm so into this thing! However, it does have gigantic spiders in it, and you know me and my reaction to spiders on this channel, but you can tell that everyone is having way more fun than they were in the original film, because now it's a proven franchise, and the child actors are having way more fun with each other. They've all returned, they all see each other again, and I like the mystery. I like the detective story of figuring out, oh, who was doing what, and oh, this crime was committed, this person almost died, what is happening in here? I like detective stories. This is a detective story, and I enjoy it. At number 2 is actually my favorite book in the entire franchise, and my second favorite film because it involves a Tri-Wizard tournament. Even though there are 4 champions in this thing, it's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Or as the book was almost called, Harry Potter and the Tri-Wizard Tournament. Goblet of Fire is actually better. But I love this movie so much in this franchise because this is where our characters become adults. This is where they grow up. This is where real life slaps him across the face. This is where everyone sees their very first dead body in Cedric Diggory. And you see the air of innocence on everyone's face just wash away, and it's totally gone. We never see it again after this movie. Because our characters all of a sudden are like, oh, this is serious. People can get hurt in this whole thing. We're saying the name Voldemort like it's nothing here. You know, we're defiant, but holy shit, people can die from us just doing that. Whew. And I also like tournaments, so to have a point system here where we're all trying to get to the Triwizard Cup first, I love. The whole point system in the movie doesn't really make sense. It's explained a lot more in the book. The book is definitely better. It's not Neville Longbottom who gives Harry the gillyweed. It's Dobby who gives Harry the gillyweed in the book.
Harry Potter needs some gillyweed. Oh, Harry Potter gave Dobby a sock, so Dobby is here to give Harry Potter some gillyweed.
This is also everyone's really introduction to Robert Pattinson, who went on to do some other, big young adult things that were not as good, but then ended up being in a Batman film that was frickin' fantastic. So he's like the new Batman. How cool is that? He was Cedric Diggory, now he's the motherfucking Batman. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, it's one of my favorites. I went to see the live performance of the concert play along with the movie in Grand Rapids years ago before the pandemic started. It was a great experience for me. I love this movie so much. It's one of my favorites. However, my favorite in this entire franchise, they saved the very best for the very last in the Harry Potter series. This is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Everything you have ever seen or heard about or that was talked about in this entire franchise gets paid off in this movie. Even the small minor characters get their payoff, like Seamus, who blows everything up. Him with his attachment to that is very handy in this movie. But it's a wonderful, wonderful end to a beautiful story and to a beautiful trio of characters that you've seen grow up on screen for, I guess this would have been 10 years at the time. To see them go from kids and to see them become young adults, you feel like a parent when you watch this movie. You're seeing your kids grow up right in front of your eyes, and you're happy. It's a bittersweet moment, and you see them, kind of drive off or go off into the sunset. There's a lot of heavy and dark moments in this movie, like when Harry Potter goes out to the woods to confront Voldemort, and he kind of knows that, well, this fate of mine is probably not going to go very well for me, but in order for me to save everyone, I need to sacrifice myself. So to see that bravery, to see the moment before he meets up with Voldemort where everyone that he has loved in his life has passed away, they all reappear. Beautiful moments there. You have to talk about Alan Rickman's Severus Snape giving Harry the memory of why he has been so cruel and why he has done what he's done. It breaks your heart, and it makes him one of the most beloved characters in this entire thing. I remember when this movie came out in theaters originally, and my wife and I had an entire day where we binged every single Harry Potter movie leading up to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And after watching Part 2, I went home. I was not okay for like 2 weeks after, because it felt like my childhood, my youth, and just my age of innocence had died. And it was done. And it was like, all of a sudden, wow, I'm an adult now. Those innocent years, those lovable, childish years of mine are never going to happen again. Because this movie has come out. Because those characters have grown up, now I have grown up. And that's really sad to me. Everything gets paid off. This is one of the best endings to any franchise ever. I mean, I could probably put my foot down right now and say it is the best ending to a film franchise out there. And that is my list of all of the Harry Potter films that have ever been released in the last 20 years. Hopefully I can get out to see Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore sometime this weekend and get my review of that out on Monday. What did you think of my list? What is your list of all of the Harry Potter films? I'm actually very interested to see where my ranking comes up against your ranking. So whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you all the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.